Yeah. Hello, good evening, and welcome again to our usual Monday slot, a debate. And today we are having a young man who will be here with me, and he's none other than Todze Simo Ano. And we will be having in the background a colleague, Professor Alabi, who will be giving us some moral support. I will permit me to say how happy I am to have a youth on this platform. This is the Agenda 2063, an agenda that is going to go along with the youth. And when we have a youth on the stage, we are happy because he is already playing his own part to make Africa what we want it to be. The topic for today is consume what you produce and produce what you have for the Africa we want. I am your regular host, Mbolifor Elvis Ambi. And like I said, today I'm having a youth in the studio, a young man, well instructed. He is an enrolled MBA student at the London School of International Business, electrical engineering background, and an entrepreneur. Not forgetting equally that he is a technical consultant. So he is my consultant, and he is there today to talk a bit on the Millingo Bio Products. Millingo Bio Products. Remember, we are talking about 2063, and we want Africa to have quality nutrition and to live on what Africa has. Remember that Africa produces most of the things, but she does not consume. And we get to get things out of Africa that maybe are expired, but we think that we are living so well, whereas we are just poisoning our systems and adding to the diseases and the illnesses that we have already in Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Simo in the studio, who is going to be with me for an hour. And I bet you it is going to be memorable and an hour that you will have something to write home about. Mr. Simo, you are so welcome to the Some Point Global TV. This is your platform, this is your space. So feel free and introduce yourself again properly to those who are watching us live on Facebook and on YouTube. Today, a youth is there, and I hope that the youths will be there equally to join us go through this program and make Africa what we want it to be. Millingo Bio Products. You have the floor.
So thank you very much for having me. For those who are organizing this forum, the opportunities that we are having here, the ideas especially that we're getting from this is really amazing. Thank you so much again for having me here. And I would like to also thank everyone that is tuning in today. And all together, we're going to sit down around the table of ideas to see how we can, of course, give an impact to our generation in such a time. So I am R.Arnold Todze Simo. I'm Cameroonian. I come from a family of four, and I do live here in Europe, abroad, in Germany. And I happen to be a student, at the same time an entrepreneur and a consultant. And that's a little bit about my personality.
Thank you so much, Rick Arno. You're welcome, like I said already, to the Some Point Global TV,
Thank you.
and we're happy to have you. Tell us a bit about Millingo Bio Products. We are eager
So,
to hear what that is all about.
all right. So Millingo actually stands for, it's a surname in the Bimba tribe. The Bimba tribe can be found today in Zambia. According to Forbes, Millingo is the surname of the Bimba tribe, meaning a person who comes about to make sure that everybody is equal and that nobody is above or below the other. So we see that it actually has this ramification from an African tribe, which is also considered to be from the roots of Bantu and a lot of other histories behind, very nice histories. And they are also known, I believe, for their forgiving spirits. and it's also something that we want to also see. So Millingo Bio product is consists of two categories. So we are venturing into biogas here, we're venturing into juice here, and we when we look at the juice that are being created or generated, we see different types of them, varieties like bao shots. We see also normal juice that we drink every day, and we also see smoothie. And these are some of the products that we have at Milingo.
Thank you so much. So I see you have some slides there to present. Can
Yes,
you go through the slides? You have some time to go through the slides, and then we
yes.
will get some questions to enlighten ourselves, to get more information, and equally to clarify if need be, because our guests who are on Facebook Live as well as on YouTube are eager to know what Milingo is all about. You see, it is everybody is equal. So we are equal and waiting to get what you have for us. And we always believe in our Ubuntu spirit because we are just because you are there. So, right on.
So as we see in the slide, we had an opportunity that was given to us by one of the units, I believe, an organization here in Germany, where we had to present the idea we came up with, the project itself. And in this day, we basically had, I believe, 155 people that came along with different ideas, and most of the great majority were youth, which was very encouraging. And we were told that 55 were selected, and it was all about the idea. It was all about how sustainable the idea can be, and how beneficial it is for growth and development from the country of origin where we come from. So this unit called the GEES actually works with 22 partnering countries, in which 10 of them are actively partaking in supporting and helping and ensuring that such projects are being validated in the continent. So we talked about the added value for sustainable development, our what. We talked about the implementation of the business idea, our when, our financial plan, and our overall business idea, our how, which is also very important, and the specific time schedule needed, and the needed support in this regard. So before we go so far into details, um, like I said, I have an electrical engineering background. I am more concerned about results, and I'm also very concerned about the problem. And it's been said that if you think 99% about the problem, it will be easy to get 1% of the solution. And I believe that Einstein also told us that you can't actually solve a problem at the same level at which it was created. So you want to solve a problem at the next level that can help. And that's why you see today we have iPhone 1 and iPhone 2 and iPhone 3, because the engineers have realized that we always need an innovation. So before we need an innovation, we need to we need to look at the problems that we have. So one of the biggest challenges we have back home and even generally in the world is that every year we lose about 1.1 third of food production. That is like 1.3 billion tons of food production, according to farmfirst.org. And this is a very crucial thing, and that's why we talk about poverty in some areas and different things, because some people basically don't have what to eat because this has been lost. And Cameroon, which is in Central Africa, happens to be in the central part of Central Africa and has been referred as Africa in miniature, and is the principal fruit and vegetable supplier in the Central African region. Now, why are this information important? Is to tell you that when you throw the small egg or a small mango or small food, remember that some people have not actually eaten, and you're also contributing in the waste that goes every year. The agricultural mindset. So we also have the poverty that comes from the intellectual side, right? So not just the poverty that has to do with our accounts, but it comes from the intellectual side. So the waste is observed due to the poor management of crops, fruits, and vegetables. Like 1/5 of sub-Saharan African food production is lost or wasted. So the post harvest management is very low. It's not even encouraging, and that's according to the PHM, which is a body that is into the agricultural sector, that also gave us these details. And then the health challenges. For instance, I take Cameroon, from where I come from. There is about 700,000 cases of diabetes reported in 2017. Now, like I was saying, there is usually a need to solve a problem once we have understood where the problem comes from. And in this case, we clearly see that it's already very problematic. Some could say, okay, but I don't really see the need why we need to solve. And the Sustainable Development Goal, together with what we have, together with the idea that has been shared, or the project that is ongoing, helps in showing all of us here today that it is very important that we don't underestimate this problem, because it can happen to anyone close to us. And if not, it's affecting each and every one of us, especially with the first one we see, the food waste. Now, what is Millingo offering, and what did Millingo discover? What did Millingo foresee, and what is Millingo bringing on in the market? So, 100% fruit juice production. Yes, I hear some people saying, but we already have that. That's true, but the truth is that we don't have new jobs alongside with juice production. So this is going to help in generating new jobs, and we are as foreseen 2022 as one of those years where we have more people working with us. About 10 new jobs will be created. And then we see that this reduces also the unemployment rate. It affects the unemployment rate that is known to be 3.7 in Cameroon. And this creates opportunities for the youth. So 60% of Cameroon's population is made up of youths. And one here is sitting here with you today. So recycling our bottles. This also answers to the 12th goal of the Sustainable Development Program from the UNDP, which is organized by the UN, and it helps consumers to drink responsible, and to see how they can develop a kind of recycling culture. So we intend to design a customized recycling system that helps consumers to recycle their bottles and get 200 francs CFA in return. Now, the beauty about this is that we already have companies or countries that are doing that, but to encourage this is another campaign on itself. So some people don't know that it can be encouraged, and to have people being responsible, they will have to pay, like for instance, 200 francs at any time that they use a bottle, and they have to bring it back to us. And this is going to help them to know, oh, whenever I drink, I don't have to throw it, but I rather have to bring it back so that I can be refunded for that. For instance, in Germany here, we have that. Health improvement. So goal 2 is also of the development sustainable development program. Zero sugar. That means Milingo is ensuring that we will assist diabetic patients on their choices of diets, and making sure that they have the kind of right foods that help them to have a better life in terms of their health. Because when you have the right health, you have the right wealth. So goal number 7 is that it talks about affordable and clean energy, to encourage the mentality of using renewable energy such as biogas, which will be a result of the left out waste from the fruit. So it can be that we have created the juice quite all right, and people are also ethically minded. They are like, okay, why are we having the dung here with us? We will use this same dung, to generate on another side, on the same cycle, the biogas that is sufficient to cook our meals also. It's something that has been feasible in some Asian countries, even feasible right now in Kenya, and I believe in Morocco, and it's definitely also feasible back home. So just to wet our tongue a little, I will go with a quote here from Martin Luther King Jr. He said, "Everyone can be great because everyone can serve." So if you remember those stories where you saw the big farmers and all these people in agriculture, they were the great guys. The people who sold cocoa, like for instance in Kumba, in Mundimba, all these guys, and even the guys who did tea and everything. And even we see those who are still doing it today, they were great because they were serving. They were at the first level of the chain supply. So they were always making sure that the rest of the population has what to eat. And they'll bring it to the market, they'll go early in the morning, they'll buy the plantains and the cassava and everything, harvest it, and bring it to the market. And without that, the rest cannot eat anything for that day or during that season. And this is very important because it shows us that even the software companies have just one goal. Their goal is to serve the people. They will give you a free software. You try the first one, try the second one, and then from the third one they'll tell you, okay, you need to subscribe. But they have given you actually a service, and this is very important for me, a youth, and for many of our youths that are also very driven by the spirit of entrepreneurship. Millingo has a business model, a very explicit one, that is SIPOC, so supply, input, process, output, customer. So we reach the suppliers, we have inputs, we discuss with the farmers. We have a transportation package that goes to the warehouse. The rest of the material that is wasted is used on the second level, or still on the first level, because it's directly a bioproduct that is used to generate the biogas called Millingo biogas. And then the juice itself is being supplied then to the rest of the market. Why is this very important? Because there are some companies that are not thinking ethically, and there are foreign companies as well that do import juice from outside, but we don't know the ethical value of it. And as a consumer, it's always good to see if this, this is what we call fair trade. If this is fair trade chocolate, or if this is fair trade business, can I trust the ethical side of what they're telling me? And these are very responsible consumers. They are not just consuming for the sake of consuming, but they consume with purpose. And this is what Millingo is bringing, the ability to test the drink and to also at the same time consume the drink with purpose. The market adoption has changed for the past years. In the past, farmers, like I said, will go directly to the market, but today we are seeing that farmers usually will go to a wholesaler. The wholesaler will either process or resell it again to the consumer. And or in the future now, we are seeing something different. We are seeing even e-commerce when it comes to agriculture, which is very good. And they are making a platform that helps to sell directly online to consumers. Cameroon is known, at least before this time, for banana production, pineapple, avocado, watermelon, orange, which are all citrus drinks, together with grape and mandarin and limes. And these are the kinds of fruits that we have that could help our people to think bio, and think health, and also think that they can sustain themselves with what they have. The bioproducts are the following. It's an explicit list, but by reason of this presentation, it's as we see it here. So bio shots can be made up of ginger, pepper, and sugarcane and citron. For some, I know it will sound like, what is this combination? But bio shots can help you actually when you have cough, or you have catarrh, or you have something. You take it. It's like the 2.5, 250 50 milliliter that you can take at one shot or two shots, that will help you to have a stronger system at the day. For instance, if you are in the cold weather, if you're in the west or in the northwest where there's a lot of cold, you go, if you're going to the farm, or maybe you're going in the day and you don't really have something you can take for that morning as a breakfast, you just take this, and it's going to help you for the rest of that time that you're at the office before you're looking for something to eat. And it can also be a combination of ginger and apples and citron. And this is something that is bio, is healthy. It is something you see that you can even do in your home if you have the right, of course, information on how to do that. And then we have smoothie types. Smoothie is basically the mixture of different kinds of fruits and possibly even vegetables that you can take in and will help you. And these are some of the ones you have here listed that we have in this project. And then finally, you have the Millingo Bio juice itself, that can be a complete plain juice like pineapple, grapefruits, or orange. Before here, we talked about aloe vera that you can directly consume. Now, just to bring back some memories, in the past 10 years, we didn't really see anything called aloe vera juice. It was really considered as a plant. But today we have seen its medical benefits, and some people are really considering it to be a juice, to even be something somebody should take in. And that's how important it is to look at this topic. Of course, we talk about funding, talk about different aspects of how people can, those who are interested, there's a place here for crowdfunding. If you believe that, oh, this is something that I really want to partake in, you're free to contact us. And these are different means to how funds can be generated. Now, I believe that here we'll have people who are very interested in the project, that will feel like, wow, I want to partake of this. You go ahead and contact us, and you're free to do that. But what I want to show is that we are working in a very transparent way. So whatever you give in, whatever you have in mind to give, it's been tailored down to what is going to be used for. So for instance, I personally, I believe in the project. I believe that the project is going to work. And I sincerely said, okay, I personally will do something in contributing for that. And I do have family and I do have friends. And when I say family, it's not necessarily by blood, but I mean a community of people I've been with, be it here in Germany or elsewhere. And they, I believe, would be very convinced to do something as well. And there are funds, of course, that we have received from the German government that do help us to even start something like this. and of course crowdfunding, of course, that would help in launching. Now I want to mention something here, as we are going to be discussing. People like Elon Musk, which is a South African, uh, started with PayPal, and then after that he went to Tesla, and then after that he went to SpaceX. The good thing about entrepreneurship is that you can start something that helps you to become something, right? So you can start a small thing, and then it becomes something else, and then you start another thing there, and it goes somewhere else. And that's the beauty, and that's, I believe, what would also help the continent, especially if we're working together. The project traction is quite simple. It's in phases. In the business, what we talk about quarters. So quarter one is exactly what we're going to do here, depending on how COVID-19 treats us. But these are the aims of the project in terms of what will be done at what time. So it's very clear, it's very explicit, and this is for us, the workers in the team, as the same as those looking at us now, the audience, that they can have a feel and touch about what we are doing, and at the same time, why not even consume what we have. And furthermore, of course, there are some threats and opportunities and weaknesses, and some of them have been mentioned here. For instance, we know, like, it's not rocket science, like some would say, that we have still challenges with water and electricity. And some people will even say, "Oh, there's a crisis." Like friends will tell me, "There's how is it possible? Like you're dreaming big." But the truth is that in this same pandemic, Amazon got more shares. In this same pandemic, companies like Tyson Market, or Tyson Fruits, or Tyson Agriculture, they got more shares. Many companies made more profit during the time of crisis. So crisis does not hinder, but crisis challenges us to change our mindset. It challenges us to see new different strategies. And any human being that is not evolving is dissolving. And this is very important. So I think that it is very necessary for us to see weaknesses and threats as an opportunity to overcome. And this is one of the things that we have not really focused our mind and our attention on, but we have really said it will be possible, and it will, even if we start small, it shall be possible. And that's just the hope that we have in our mind. So talking about the biogas, like I said, is something that has been feasible. There are people who are enjoying from these benefits, and be it some farmers right now, they're trying to get what we call biodomes. In Morocco, you see people creating that already, like you see on the slide here. Some of them generate it, in their farms, or maybe very far from their farms, and every waste dung from cows or from goats and everything goes in there, and then with time, with all the mechanism and chemistry behind, it generates the needful gas that can be used to do the cooking. So this, in a nutshell, is the presentation that I also had to place in today.
Thank you so much, R.Arnold Todze Simo. I have surely mixed the names, but
Okay.
you can identify yourself with that. That was quite a powerful submission there, coming from a youth, a project that is so promising and that people will surely be interested. And maybe you can already signal to us, maybe you type on the desktop for those who would like to support this project before we take a short break.
Okay.
Just tell us how those who want to support the project can come in before we forget that.
Okay.
All right. He wants to tell us how we can get to support the project because it's so promising coming from a youth. And he talks of that we should think bio, we should think health, and that we should think sustainably. I think this is quite a sustainable project, something that is going to be consumed by our parents, by us. He made mention of sugar free, talked of 400% fruit juice production by Millingo, creating new jobs as well, 10 new jobs for our youth, 3.7 million unemployed youths in most of our countries, recycling of bottles, zero sugar, which can assist diabetic patients. And he ended up with biogas. And he says that everyone can be great because everyone can serve. That is from Martin Luther King Jr. And then Milingo has as business code SIPCO, supply input process customer, and that you follow your customers to make sure that whatever they produce can equally be used. Even the waste, you say we lose so much waste along the line, or
Yeah.
much of the fruit crops are lost, and that these equally the waste can be used to produce biogas. And we know how costly biogas is. And if we could just use our own waste to produce biogas, it would be so economically be rational, of course, and cost effective so that we don't have to spend much again, given that the standard of living is already a problem and we have to spend much again. So we take our jingle so that you catch your breath, then we come back to
Thank you.
see how we proceed with some clarifications, questions, appraisals equally that will be coming from our crew that is watching us live on Facebook and live
Okay.
on YouTube. Can we have our jingle, please? A prosperous Africa based on inclusive growth and sustainable development. And we have a sustainable project that is being presented to us this day by a youth, an African youth, of course, which becomes so encouraging. Your program looks so well structured already, and the realization will actually be something to write home about. But we have some worries. You mentioned that we already have many Jews in the market.
Yes.
How do you intend to overcome the competition that will be mounted by the other Jews that are already existing and maybe cheaper than what we'll be producing? Because that is a problem that we are going to face on the market. How do you think to overcome this issue?
Well, that's a very good question. I would like to first of all thank again all those that have been here with us listening. In Africa, particularly in Central Africa, Cameroon produces more fruits and vegetables, and it's said to be Africa in miniature. I mentioned this at the beginning as well. At the borders of Cameroon, you have Nigeria, you have Central Africa, you have Gabon, you have Guinea, you have Chad as neighboring countries. The economical atmosphere, of course, is very competitive, and we want to, deal with the imported juice or imported drinks out there by ensuring that we provide a strong marketing campaign that will generate our purpose. So where there is no vision, of course, the people perish. So we want to make sure that we make a campaign that brings the attention of people to see that their health matters more than their wealth. So if I import something from outside, I'm not really guaranteed if it's going to really help me health wise. So that's why we are bringing in. The second point is that we want to generate a cultural and health based awareness for benefit of humanity. So working alongside with practitioners, working alongside with people that also validate the claims that we have in terms of what we are producing. I want to also create workshops where consumers can be trained to blend their own juice. So there are people who, for instance, don't have the means and they don't really know how beneficial it is to have, for instance, a smoothie at home. And we want to create such campaigns for them to come and see that this is what you could do if you have this. And as we speak, even there are families, for instance, that might be sleeping on gold, in some African countries, but they're not even aware that it's gold unless somebody comes from outside and tells them that, hey, see, this is actually gold. And this is something that we want to generate the awareness and workshops for them to see that it's actually possible. You actually have it close to you. Present an awareness campaign and compare the prices, right? So, of course, imported jewels have higher prices to pay when it comes to taxation, but ours is created directly from what you already have. So if you turn to, let's say, the Douala market or to Yaoundé market, and you go there and you get something like just one packet and you start blending at your own expenses in your own house without even coming to us, you will definitely see with time that, wow, this is actually something that could be done, and so on. So one day, a young man went to visit a family. He was told that you eat poorly. So I think the mother in the house told him that you eat very poorly. As someone who could afford food, so this guy actually had the money to buy food. He did not really understand what the woman was trying to tell him. So the same goes for our brothers and sisters who can be rich in their pocket, but they are actually poor when it comes to their food. So this is something that we are intending to put down.
Thank you so much. You see, where there is no vision, the people perish, and that you intend to create cultural and health-based awareness as well as present an awareness campaign, of course, so that people can get to consume our own juice. And I'm seeing a comment here that it doesn't depend on the price, but the quality and how effective it is to our systems. Thank you so much for that question. It was a tricky question, of course, and I
Yeah.
wanted to see how we're going to go about that because people will be asking that question because we have had some home-based products that become more expensive than what is imported,
Yeah.
of course, of high quality, but people will say, since man's wants are so numerous, they make a scale of preference, and health is not considered, and they go in for what is cheaper and end up paying higher instead of having have taken something that was expensive that will keep you healthy and keep you strong always. Thank you so much. I am happy to be with the youth on, and you are doing just what you're supposed to do. Thank you so much. And the second question is, people get used to some taste. I mean, somebody like my grandmother, she loves this imported juice, and
Yeah.
when you even do the blended one at home, she's like, "Oh, this one is not as sweet as the one that is imported." How do you intend to overcome this taste problem that people must have developed over the years, taking imported juice? Because my grandmother, it is difficult. I'm struggling that she should not take juice again, imported juice. I make her some smoothies at home, but you always see when she tastes it, she looks at you again and say, "Oh, this one is not what I know." But I'm struggling. So how do you intend to work on that?
Yeah, that's a good question as well. Aloe vera is a plant that is very scarce today. But 15 years ago, we did not have aloe vera juice. In some international shops today, Afro descendant shops, we have aloe vera juice. So the taste is fantastic, by the way. So it's something that comes with time. So people have to we all learn things as time goes with us. So it's very important that we also live in the time factor. According to Wikipedia, the primary gustatory cortex in the brain, its structure, its responsibility is for the perception of taste. And to overcome the taste aspect, of course, we want to play with the marketing. So marketing, not in terms of what people don't know, but marketing in terms of what people already know. So indicating that Milingo will be uh, um, a very beneficial health health related product. So, for instance, the bowel shots I mentioned with ginger and all the rest. So, this is very health beneficial, showing them that the sustainable and ethical impact of what we are doing is going to help as well in shading matters. So, for instance, people consume, for instance, I don't want to mention the name here, but they can consume soda drinks, right? But we don't really know how the soda drinks were made. We don't know where they come from. We just hear the gas and then we take it and we drink. But we show the people that this is what we have made, and this is where the dunk is going. This is what is being used for. This visible image, this graphical side helps the people ready to see that, oh, it must be tasting good because it's from the environment I live in. And not only that, it also helps me to see where I'm going. So taste comes with what we see as well. It's not just the taste from our mouth. So challenging them to live a bowel life by encouraging them to drink what the country produces in terms of fruit. So these are the things that we want to put in place to encourage the people over the taste of what Milingo juice has.
Millingo Bio Products, surely a concept that is still out of the country, and you intend to bring it back home so that we will consume what we produce and actually produce what we consume. Given the unstable nature of the country, how do you think that you will overcome that stress, of course, to establish a company here that is going to foster with the instability situation that we have in Africa generally?
I think that the conflict itself has affected a lot of businesses back home. That's a reality that cannot be ignored. But nevertheless, like I said before, some companies have increased in market share during crises, be it political or maybe even like the global one right now. In fact, some companies have even found ways to open right now than they did before. And we have examples, like I mentioned, of Amazon. We have even examples of Zoom. We have examples of Decree and company, which is an agricultural company. We have Tyson Food also, who has really increased. And these are, you say American companies. That's true. But the truth is also that we saw that in the American sphere, things were not okay when it came to democracy. So back home, we are facing the reality of two regions that are affected. And if we go back to the motto of Cameroon, it stands for peace, work, fatherland. So Cameroonians are not known for people who fight or who do war. We have not had any war, at least for the past 50 years, at least from what I read in my history book. And Cameroon has 10 regions. Two are affected by the crisis. Of course, these two are very well placed in terms of their touristic side and what they have in terms of crops. They are very rich in crops. Nevertheless, five of them, which I believe one of them or two of them even contribute in the economical growth, would be potential areas where we would still want to work with people from the touristic side. An instance is that before the launching of this project, in terms of the awareness and everything, a German lady was telling me she would like to drink this juice when she comes on the touristic side in Cameroon. And we have not even gone so far in the project, but she was saying that that's what she wants to have and that's what she wants to see. So it tells you that there are people who know that there might be a crisis, but they still want to have a good time.
Okay, people know that there might be a crisis, but they will still want to have a good time. Thank you so much. Excuse me. We You talked of aloe vera juice, so fantastic, and the comment was, "How can aloe vera juice be fantastic?" Like somebody who's advertising a bitter drink and is saying so sweet. Can't that be, like you make somebody to come into something, and when he or she tastes it, will be like, oh, this guy is not serious. We are going to come back to that. We were talking about Millingo Bio Products and how we can consume what we produce and produce what we have to make Africa great, our own Africa, our continent, Africa. And a comment coming in that most of the imported goods are subsidized and that they may be cheaper, and that will be a national problem for national producers. And I want to link that to what you said about presenting an awareness campaign and teaching people to produce their own juice at home.
Mm.
Wouldn't that, if I have to produce my own juice already at home, don't you think the market will be affected? You talked of sustainability. Wouldn't the market have problems of sustainability?
Well, that's a really problematic situation. But the economy of every nation does is not based on uh, individualistic approaches. It is based on the common good of all. So it means that even if I am taking a basket of mango and I take it to my home, it does not so much affect the economy when I do that. I've already affected the economy when I bought the mangoes, right? So I've paid for the mango, I've had a trade. So I've already affected the economy positively. Now, if I blend it at home and I consume, it does not in any way affect the market, especially when I'm consuming within that ecosystem. If I was taking it outside, then that could be a problem. And now I just want to mention something here. We have, for instance, our fellow brothers who are from China who come back home and they have planted a lot of crops and everything, and they don't, sell it in the local market. They take it back to China. That's where we're concerned, and that's where there could be a problem because it would be best if I buy a land in a foreign land, and I do something there, and then I can help the people at the same time there. But when it's being taken back to another place, then there's a call for concern, and this is where we are very careful, and this is where the real problem actually lies. So the 50-50 ideology.
Thank you. That was very biological, consuming around the ecosystem and equally affecting the economy by buying already the mango. So there is already a trade, meaning
Yeah.
that if you have to produce your own juice, you have somehow already contributed to the economy. and you're not going to be a danger to the economy. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. That is why I like having youth, because they always have very quick minds and they reason the things just as it is supposed to be. The questions I've been asking are so tricky, but you get to go over them and answer them like a mature youth. Kudos again to you, Simo,
Thank you.
and I hope to be having you frequently on this global TV, because you are a youth and you will be an inspiration to other youths who are watching us today.
Thank
Now,
you.
Milingo is going to be going in to the world market, of course, with a project that intends to employ youths to reduce poverty and equally to ameliorate the standards of living. Apart from providing jobs for the youth, how else is Milingo thinking that it is going? What's the impact of Milingo as concerns aspiration one of the agenda 2063? How is the impact going to be? What are your plans?
So the impact side of it is really I would say it's a generational one. There is a man called Photo Victor. He's the founder. He's late actually right now. He's the founder of Safka, and his company produces books. In fact, that's one of the companies he had. There's another man called Aliko Dankote. He produces cement and sugar. He's in Nigeria, and there are many of them like that on the African continent. When they started, they didn't probably think about just where they are right now. Dankote, for instance, is operating in Cameroon. That's the impact about it. When we talk about the impact, he's even looking forward to different countries that are not even in Africa. Uh, so whenever an idea shows up, like the one we have in front of us, Milingo, we don't only think, and that's what I'm trying to encourage every you watching us right now. You don't only think within your capacity, you think without your capacity. So it means you don't look at what you can do as a youth or what your team can do, but you look at what others can come and do through you. So there are people, of course, that would definitely want to finance and everything. So the impact here lies in promoting an African drink that can be, drunk by people on their airplanes, on African airplanes, on African touristic sites. For instance, in Rwanda, in Gabon and every other country that you have in Africa. So we are not dreaming like, okay, it's going to just be in Cameroon. And no, we're thinking of whenever somebody takes Air Maroc or takes Air Cameroon or Air Nigeria, he has an African product that is being presented to him, even more biological than the one that he will have if he was somewhere else. Now, for instance, I've been in Turkish Airlines. When I enter Turkish Airlines, I don't see any other meal than a Turkish meal. And it probably something that has been made in Istanbul. And this will be best if we are traveling back home, you know, and we have something that is being fabricated and from the continent. And they say, okay, where was this harvested? For instance, the coffee that people would drink, they'll say, but where was this taken from? You can tell them in the plane that, oh, sir, we actually harvested it from Ghana. Would you like to visit Ghana next time? It already advertised the country, and at the same time, it's an impact to that person because he has something to remember about that economy and about the people from there. So that's the impact it brings, given its name itself, that it's an African name, and it pushes people to see that, wow, I can go to this place and I'll remember these people for this particular drink that I drank there.
Let me take this time to thank those who are with us online and seeing their comments. I'm seeing Sam Eric, I have Roy McGee, and a handful of others who are behind and making the program really go on so well. Thank you so much for having the faith in us and for accompanying us throughout our programs. Ubuntu is our watchword. We are because you are there. Thank you so much. And thank Eric too. I have Francois here who is popping up. Thank Eric for being there and sitting in so squarely as a youth, a technical consultant. So he is a square peg in a square hole. Eric, you know that youths like sweet things so much. And this program is for the youth. Are you sure you are not going at war with your own mates, talking about sugar free? How are they
Yeah.
going to perceive and welcome this project? Have you had an encounter with them already? Because You tell a youth to drink tea maybe with no sugar, there will be problems. How are you intending to handle this? Because you are going to war with your own mates.
Yeah, that's a the word war. Actually, it's it's not in terms.
I put it in words.
Yeah, I don't want them to feel like I'm coming to fight them or something. No, actually, uh, it's always good to reason with people to see the best out of every situation. If I take a bottle, and that's something we want to also discuss here. I am not an alcoholic, and I don't wish one person or any other person to be. If I take a bottle of beer, which costs the same price for something that will be beneficial for me when it comes to my health, I want to think over it again. What are the benefits? So the consumption of anything should be done with purpose. And now consumption can be what we wash, what we drink, what we taste, where we go, what kind of company we keep. So anything I do, I have to have a purpose behind it. Why am I doing the things I'm doing? And this is something that I believe my brothers and sisters should understand. So uh, this year, some people have probably put resolutions around them, and they have said, "Okay, I'll stop doing this. I'll stop doing this. I'll make sure I don't do this and everything." But what is the purpose of your change? Are you just changing because you want to change? So what Milingo is offering is that we want you to consume this because it is first of all yours. It's not far away from you. You're not importing them. It's not like you're in Singapore or in another country. You're actually at home in the motherland that gives you all that you need for a better life. We have a bowing environment, by the way, so it's something that is very helpful. So this is something that when it comes to the taste and sugar and everything, we already I've been told by specialists that we already have enough sugar in our body, that if you take a cup of coffee or tea, you don't even need sugar. So sugar is just an addiction on its own, and I believe those who are watching who are more enlightened in this topic than myself will confirm that. So zero sugar, at least there are some imported drinks like that also have zero sugar, is not a topic that should scare the youths, but it should help us to see, oh, if I want to live more than my father lived, I want to consume probably better things than he ever consumed.
We should consume purposefully,
Yeah,
and of course take what we know that is going to be beneficial for us, because sometimes we take what is good for the mouth but not good for the system. Thank you so much, and thank all those who are watching us. We are talking about consuming, produce what we consume, and consume, of course, what we produce. And this is for the Africa that we want. Your project is still going to be realized, and I am thinking of this question. Have you had maybe formulated manner that you think that the African governments, or where you think you are going to install or build your company or production site, how do you think that the governments can come in to help make this project a big one, and a project that will fit squarely in aspiration one, providing good life, quality life for the youths? How do you think they can come in to make this project what you want it to be? A contribution from the government. How are you? Because sometimes you may have a very good project and you don't present it, and nobody knows it exists. Nobody
true.
comes in, and you end up blaming the government. We don't want the blame game. So, what have you had in mind already?
Yeah, so to start with, some African governments have been doing well for the past 5 years. So in Rwanda, we see the pragmatism and achievements of President Paul Kagame. And I would like to highlight here that the aspect of forgiveness is very important. So we need to learn to forgive our past, and most especially ourselves. Change starts when we forgive. So if I forgive my past and I forgive myself, things will change. Because we sometimes play the blame game, or this is not working, that should be working like this and everything. But we also need to learn to forgive the past and make sure we forgive our own self. That's where the real change starts. In Senegal, we see also President Macky Sall, who is encouraging foreign investment. A lot of young people in Senegal today are investing in different areas. And in Ethiopia, we see the president of Sali work Tuade doing a great job in terms of the economy as well. So African government can promote this project by promoting Millingo Joe's project by easing administrative process of realizing such a project in Central Africa. So reducing costs for citizens in registration of a company, reducing taxes, encouraging the agricultural sector, and used to eat what they produce. So whenever we're in the face of lobbyism or anything, they should say, "Oh, we want to our own youths as well to prosper." For instance, Cameroon has 60% of its population being youths. So if they can be promoted, it will be very good for the economy as a whole. Promoting, a second point, promoting African consumption on the market. So promoting what we fabricate, our own gas, our own way of doing it. And a clear example here is Dangote cement that is being produced in Nigeria and now even in Cameroon. Invest in their own national and continental project to generate identity and confidence. So identity is very important in everything we do. A clear example is that if I'm importing rice from Taiwan, I will not see the inscription of Pidgin Creoles there. I won't say good morning, no, it's not there. I see Taiwan writings there. So we need to tell them to invest in their own national and continental project to generate identity and confidence. Then the last point here is that second to the last, to ease the project of opening a company, encouraging entrepreneurship ideas, because there are a lot of people, I believe, that probably I'm speaking for them through this voice, that the ideas have been brought down. A clear example is some of us that don't have the opportunity to even go forward with the ideas, or some of the examples I can mention. Now, I want to give a story of a guy, also a youth in Cameroon. According to newsmicrosoft.com, Artisan, a Cameroonian engineer, was awarded $30,000 for his company, Himor Medical, by the president of Cameroon, Paul Biya. So this guy actually, what did he do? He started a project. He was short of money, he was short of income. He was generating a cardio kind of pad, a cardio pad for medical use. And he got to a place where he was stuck in his project. He had all the necessary things. He had to even borrow $1,500 to continue with the project. But unfortunately, things did not work out. So he made a campaign online, like a kind of crowdfunding, and people got to discover it far later. And that's when the president of the republic came in and said, "Oh, go ahead with this and do your project." So this is something that they can do by listening to us as well. So I believe the last point would be that they get to listen to the youths. It means that in terms of forums and 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 on the round table, people can share their ideas. And I want to congratulate, for instance, the founder of Uber Bank, that usually has every year an annual kind of forum that encourages entrepreneurs to take on an idea by awarding them the necessary finances or a part of finances that they could need for the idea. So I don't want to so much stress on the financial aspect, but I want to stress on the administrative aspect. If it's in terms of finance, usually it will come when you're doing the right thing. But when it comes to the administrative aspect, even if you're doing the right thing, it might not come. So that's another part that is very important for African governments to do.
Finances will come when you are doing the right thing, and you say that the government should invest in national and continental projects so as to generate identity and confidence. That is so powerful, and that is the problems, or one of the problems that we have when it comes to opening companies. The administrative bottlenecks really make it so difficult that some people just get discouraged and walk away. And you see that this project has already been embraced by German government, of course. How are the diasporas, that's the African Europeans who are there, how are they embracing equally, or how are they responding maybe when you approach them with this project?
The feedback so far has been very positive, and of course, the economy over here is very structured. And if I have the opportunity to be powerful in terms of a nation, what I look forward is I try to get good allies and people that can replicate my ideas. And there are countries that have understood the 50-50 share, and they do respect this. So here in Germany, for instance, I've approached people with the idea, and they were really amazed. I've approached some of the people in the diaspora. They have even said they want to help. Yesterday we had a presentation, and two fellow brothers showed up, and they're like, "Oh, we'll help you in the marketing." And it tells us how this has been very receptive in terms of the implementation. When it comes to the Europeans, they are definitely amazed because they give us an opportunity to come present to them, and the ones we met in the institution definitely were also very touched because they saw that it responded to four of the goals of the UNDP. So the best thing we want to keep here is that no nation can succeed on its own, and we need like genuine partnership that help the collaboration of one another. And this is what I can say in terms of what this project has brought on this side of the world.
We need collaboration so that all of us can succeed. And Mama Becky says that the diasporans are so awakened this time when it comes to Afro business concepts. I think many people are listening to you and they are interested already in the Millingo Bio products. We talked just on biogas and juice. Are there other trends, other things that Millingo is into apart from just biogas and juice?
Yeah, so there's biogas, there's juice, but in the juice itself there are varieties. There's bao shots, and there's bao smoothie. So smoothie itself, and these are some of the trends that we have.
A word for the youth when you hear of consume what you produce and produce what you have for the Africa we want. What impression comes to mind?
Um, so what comes to my mind is the quote from this great man again, Martin Luther King Jr. He said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness; only light can do that, and hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." And I am also concerned about the crisis ongoing now in Cameroon. One way or the other, my family lives there, and the best way we can drive out anything we think is darkness, anything that we think is not appropriate, is by having the light. And light meaning that having the right kind of information, having the right kind of people, having the right kind of people that don't only see the idea, but are also concerned of the result of the idea. Like I said, I have an engineering background. I'm fascinated to think about 99% of the problem and 1% of the result. And the result should come out when the problem itself has been dealt with thoroughly. So that's why we're having this exposure for other people to also give in their inputs. I might not see the way people see. And it also helps us in the team to see things differently and to approach things differently. So a word for the youth would be that if you're having a project idea or business, or you are doing something that you believe, oh, this is what I should be doing, and I'm not having the chance, just believe in that project, and make sure you believe in yourself, and make sure you learn to forgive the people around. So Nelson Mandela is a clear example of what we should be looking at in terms of leadership. He learned to forgive his people, and he learned to forgive himself. And that's some of the things that we need to learn as youths, to forgive whatever circumstances that happen around you, and to forgive yourself. And that's where the real change actually starts.
You say change starts when we forgive each other. And that is so powerful, and
Yeah.
that only light can drive away darkness, and only love can actually solve the problem of hate. And so, time is always so short.
Yeah.
We have much to say. I really wanted to dwell much on the health aspect of the Jews, and I think that we will be having another session, maybe where we will take some time to talk again about how health beneficial Milingo is. Because when you talk already about diabetes, which goes hand in gloves with hypertension, we
Mm.
begin to see how health relieving this is going to be. And I have Esam Eric who says, back to the strategy, how about building the entire strategy based on less sugar? So it will be possible to focus on health and have a product that has the youth in focus. Every government will be interested in keeping the health of the children under control and thus minimizing the socioeconomic consequences. Of course,
Yeah.
when you don't have health, you get to spend so much and equally dwindles down the standard of living. And we are on the aspiration one, which talks about the high and quality standard of living for our youth. We've had so much today, Milingo,
Yeah.
with Simo, who has been so resourceful, giving us the information and detailing, of course, on what Milingo is doing. And you even went out of the sphere of just Milingo to tell us some other things that happen in Africa and other countries that are already getting into bio production of juice and equally biogas, how we could manage our waste. And I am hoping that we will be coming back again to talk about Millingo. Do you have a last word for the youth? An encouraging one for someone again, if you do?
Yeah, so first of all, again, or last of all, thank you so much for having me on the show. And I just want to encourage everyone that has encouraged us so far, and don't give up, because the best is yet to come. Not only in terms of what I'm saying right now, there's no other person that will believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. And believing in yourself, don't get me wrong, is not being boastful or being proud. No, there is something and there's a purpose for why you are here and the things you're doing. And it's always important that we don't leave the same way we came. So we are here for a reason. We are here to do something, and let's just learn to see how we can do those things before destiny calls us, or whatever happens in the future.
Okay, we should not live the same way we came, and we should always forgive. That is what we were taking home. Change can only start when we forgive, and we will not live the same way we came, because you have been so resourceful. You have given us so much information, and I think we have to start consuming Africa, because we have the best and we produce the best, and it is equally cheaper and so nutritious. Thank you so much for being there. The time is always so short. We have already gone above time, but we
Thank you.
still have so much to talk about. I think we'll be ending here with our jingle, and I'm hoping to see you again. Thank all those who have been scotched on to this program, glued to this program, and making the comments come. It makes the program so lively equally, and make us feel that you are actually following us and helping us to achieve this Agenda 2063, which is our agenda, which is cut, shaped, and sharpened for Africa by Africans. And I'm having a youth here with me, Simo. I'll be leaving you now. So, so happy. So happy. I hope I could have another hour so that we have to really talk and talk and talk. Thank you so much. And bye bye for today. Let us